What's up, guys? So, there's so many belief systems out there in the world, especially in Hellenic Polytheism. You have people who take the myths as gospel, and you have people that see them as symbolism. And so, where do I stand as of today, and where have I evolved from? We're going to talk about that in my theology from my point of view. What's up, guys? So I have Zelda the Destroyer with me, the breaker of statues, because she sees so many by me. But I thought this would be a fun video to do a video from my perspective on the gods. So those that follow me know that I am a follower of Seleucus and Platon and philosophers in that same idea of thinking. So those that have been following me, she's coming, by the way, on those videos, you kind of already have an idea of where I stand. I'm telling you, she is the destroyer of statues. And so I have some notes of my personal beliefs that I'm going to share with you for those that are just curious of my theology, of how I see the gods. So first off, I just want to say that I believe in the gods. The gods of what we would call Greece, because those are the deities I've always felt a connection to, and as I pray, I still do as I give offerings. Those are the ones I have connected the most with. After I've prayed to many gods and tried many paths in the past, those gods are the ones that I personally felt the most connection with. I am a strict Hellenic Polytheist, meaning that I only see the world through the eyes that the gods of what we would say is the Greek gods are over the world and the universe. And that the world and everything we know, either that everything of the world that we know or have yet to discover, were divinely inspired. I have notes if you want to know why I keep looking down. I do believe that the gods created the universe, but I am not a mythic realist, meaning that I don't believe that the myths that we know and the stories we're told are literal history. I can't. I do not believe that the myths are gospel, much like the entertainment of today. The myths, the gods are characters in a play for the entertainment of the people. The stories may reflect certain natures of the gods, but they do not represent the gods. Again, much like the movies and entertainment of today. So I cannot be offended when movies come out that portray the gods in certain ways, such as Zeus in the Gods of Greece, that may or may not appear on Thor, Love and Thunder, that's out now. I can't get offended by that, by their portrayals, because lest we forget that in classic myths, the myths did not flatter the gods majority of the time in those myths either. So for movies to portray them as fat, drunk, angry, jealous, I mean, that's classic myth right there. And again, I don't see the gods in that way. So I do not take the way they are portrayed in myth as fact and history, but as entertainment to teach a lesson to the people. Because myths were created to give morals and lessons to teach us how to be better people, and has to have virtue, which was the ultimate goal, to be a better person in life, to have a good life, and to help the people. I'm telling you, Zelda's making her debut hardcore on this video. So I also believe that the gods have, that I believe in, let me start back here. So, I also believe in evolution. The gods have blessed us as a species, discover it to be so. So, I believe that as a personal belief, that mythical stories, how I said it, symbolism and teaches us a lesson. The story of Prometheus giving us fire to man, I don't think that's a literal thing, other than possibly it was Prometheus who helped mankind, the humans, evolve from the beginning to where we are now. It was, the fire was a representation of the evolution of our progress. And it could be the spirit of Prometheus that continued to help us evolve even into the modern day. So the Titan Prometheus, I think, doesn't really get enough credit by a lot of people, and I think that the worship of Prometheus is actually very important because he helped us get to where we are now. The gods, as those of you that follow, again, my Solstice videos and so forth, you are not going to be shocked to hear me say that the gods do not, in my philosophy and my theology, have physical bodies, but they are conscious beings who keep the universe and everything in it, in the entire galaxy, the universe. They keep it all in order. So the gods not having physical bodies means they also have no true gender. Only their presence and the tasks they accomplish is how we label them as male, female, or male/female in their actions, or the aura as we know it that they give off when we are in their presence, and when we see how they interact with the things of the universe and ourselves. So let's see. The physical representations of the gods that we see in these statues are just a human construct more than a realistic interpretation. Statues such as these were created to make it easier for our minds to wrap around, because it's seeing a human form as something that we can relate to, other than some massive consciousness that's beyond our scope of realization. That's harder to grasp and connect with than seeing Athena, for example, or Hermes or Apollon in human form, because we could connect to that. Cleveland said that if it were horses and cattle as the dominant animal on the earth, and they had a conscience like ours, then their gods would reflect horses and cattle. And I 100% believe that this is not what the gods look like truly, but they may come in a vision. I do believe that the gods are conscious again, in almost like you can think of it, it's not an energy being, but you can think of it because they have no body, but they can influence people, and I'll talk about that. And when they come to people and or give some interpretation they want people to know, they can come in a form that we understand. So as I mentioned before, wars and the like are caused by desperation, greed, the need for freedom or to be heard. Whether being fought for right or wrong, it is what I call the folly of man, and that it is not an influence of the gods. Nature and the fates have determined to give all creatures, animal and plant, a lifespan to prevent overpopulation. So for both things, war and the end of life, I do not blame the gods on. The fates or nature have set a course, and these things have been determined long before I came into being. Because if we did not have an end to certain life, there would be overpopulation. And I think that it is just a natural thing to prevent that. Because I used to hear people all the time talking about how if we could live to be 200 years old and all that. And it would, I mean, just imagine what it would do to the planet, you know. And on the flip side, though, I could tell you that disease sucks. It really sucks, but it is nature, and it's just in the part of the world that we live in. And overall, in the end, it really does have a purpose. That's why Thanatos, in not all gods of death, or those that we would call a god of death, are looked into as negative, because they do have a purpose in the cosmic scheme of things, as they would say. So the gods that have a specific interest in our planet can be our support for the good. Whether they inspire words or dreams, they have their purpose. Even though I do not... So before I go there, let me go into what I would say the gods who have a personal level with the planet. The ones that we know. You know, there are so many gods. There are inconceivable amount of gods in the grand scheme of the universe. But the ones who have concern with Earth or deal with us as a species, they have, again, the ability to inspire words. Like people say the muses have inspired me. This could be very possible. I see music compositions and so forth. Who's to say that wasn't inspired by the spirit of what we would call Apollo? And so because sometimes people write things and they don't know where it came from. They would just say they just pulled it out of the air, you know, like, I can't believe I said that or wrote that, you know. And I know whenever I'm inspired, if I do a video, and there are some videos that I can't believe that I came up with almost 500 topics to talk about, you know. So it is something that's just a muse of inspiration, and I do believe that the gods that care about the world and that can take care of our planet and watch over us as a people can help influence us. Again, it goes back to the Prometheus thing again, that they can help us evolve and become better people, because that's the end goal of being a person, is that you want to be better than you were when you were born, you know, and that you're helping out mankind. So even though I do not believe in miracles, such as the dead literally being brought back to life or limbs regenerated, I do believe the gods can inspire doctors to heal the sick. So I pray for the doctors to make the right decisions for patients and to get people the help they need. And the spirit of Asclepius. I've been in the hospital a lot lately, and you can feel the spirit of the god of the physicians in hospitals. I mean, the way they care for patients and just the overall atmosphere, you know. I always think to myself that that's the temple of Asclepius in modern day, since we don't have that anymore. And yeah, it's a whole other topic I think I've done before on modern temples and what we consider modern temples. Like Asclepius's would be the hospital, because they would bring the sick to his temple in the ancient days. And the temple of Dionysus or Dionysos would be the theater, for example. But that's getting off topic. But yeah, even though I don't believe in miracles such as if I cut my hand off, that someone can pray and it'll grow back, I do think that the gods work through our doctors and physicians and help us discover new medicines and help the patients the best they can. So you can pray for doctors in particular, because that's what I'm dealing with right now, to do the best that they have the knowledge for to help patients. I believe that the gods know this, and that is why, meaning I believe the gods know this, and that is why the author of Delphi Maxim 52 was inspired to write, "Pray for things possible." That miracles, as in what we would see and know, like the regeneration of limbs doesn't happen in reality. So Maxim 52 says, pray for things possible. That way you have faith in the gods and you won't be disappointed. Whenever you pray for the extreme, you're more likely to be disappointed. So Delphic Maxim 52 says to pray for things possible. So you pray for the sick loved ones, you pray for the doctors, you pray for everything in life, not just hospital, but just things in life. Don't expect the impossible, but pray for the realistic, because then, like I said, it doesn't say this part, but that way you're not disappointed, because people that pray for giant miracles are often disappointed. And finally, I'm telling you, and at the end of life, I do believe we are set to return again in our new bodies with new lives. And even though the present body dies, the soul does carry on. And that brings comfort to me, because we see this in a lot of cultures and people throughout history, and even into the modern day. People having visions of places they've never been to, and yet they can describe it to a T. And it's comforting to know that we may have lost the loved ones, but the souls truly are being reborn to experience things new, and hopefully arriving to a better future than the present life they have left behind. So that is what I have for my personal beliefs on my theology, on how I see spirituality and the gods. And you have seen Zelda on many occasions on this video, so she is still around and as curious as ever. Anyway, guys, I hope you like this video, and I will see you in the next.